Time at Lazy Boy Showcase Shops. We're clearing the floors of odds and ends, discontinued stock, and floor samples, all at big savings. Incliner sofas clearance priced at only $688.
That is Jan Brehm. She is a local gal made really, really well in Portland. That is a Lazy Boy TV commercial, just some of the commercials that Jan does. One of the ladies who has helped her make her start is a woman who is with the Troutman Downey Group and has been an agent since about 1984, is going to tell us how we can break into commercials. Please welcome Sam Downey.
Morning, Sam.
Thank you.
See you.
Jan is a face that's become very familiar.
Jan is a face.
Now, what is it about Jan? She's very attractive, she's very personable, but there are so many people who are trying to do that very thing in town. How did she stand out amongst all the others?
Well, Jan has an ability, like a couple other talent I have that are, it's just a special thing they have of looking straight through the camera lens and talking directly to the audience at home. And that is not really something you can teach someone, as you well know. You guys do that too. And you either have it or you don't. I mean, there's plenty of people that can go on and do a commercial and memorize lines, do a good job, but there's only a few people who have that ability to look straight through the lens and reach the viewers at home.
How do you
Aside from the fact that she's gorgeous.
Oh, she's beautiful.
That doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt at all.
Well, okay, let's start there. Do you have to be gorgeous to do commercials?
No, you don't have to be. In fact, we've seen a trend in the last 3 or 4 years of people who are very ordinary looking, and probably some of the people I have at the agency that work the most are the ones who are what we call, could be anybody. For example, Eric Hull is with us today, and even though Eric is a very attractive young man, he has that everyman look. He can be a dad, he can be the boss, he can be executive, whatever, and he's very talented too.
We'll talk to Eric a little bit later.
Tell us about Portland. Is Portland truly becoming the commercial and the movie industry second capital on the West Coast? Is this truly happening?
Yes, it is happening. In the last 2 years, we have seen more movies. I mean, there's been one movie right after another. And about in 1984, whenever they did a movie here, they would bring everyone from Los Angeles, and I mean, even the bit players. Now they come here and they will cast all of the secondary people locally, and because my partner Nanette Troutman has an office in Los Angeles, she manages to head out the casting people before they even come here, and she's able to pitch people for some of the, when they're not looking for a star, but it's a lead role, she's managed to make connection with them before they even come to Portland, so that they don't cast that in LA and they will look at our Portland people. I think a lot of it has to do with Vancouver, BC is, I think they've changed the tax laws there, and it's not as beneficial to do film work there as it was, and so Portland is the logical stopover to have that happen. And I think in the next 5 years we're really going to see film production be one of our main industries here.
John Machida, who we were speaking with now.
Yes, I represent him now locally, if anyone wants to hire him.
Oh, do you? Good.
Yes.
Good. Lucky you. I wish I did. Obviously, he has a well-developed talent and a very specific skill. But for the rest of us, what kind of skills would we need to do commercial work? Do you try to develop one particular area, or do you try to do a lot of things well?
I think in this market, because it's a small market, you have to do a lot of things well in order to make a living. For example, Eric and Jan both do radio and television and industrial training films and print work. And if a talent can do all of those things, then they're more likely to be able to make a living than if they just have to wait for a film to come along or something that's specifically their type.
It can be rather intimidating, like any business you don't know anything about. So those who are associated with any kind of a talent arrangement, whether it's an agency or film or commercials, know what's needed or what's expected of someone who does this. But let's say someone is watching now who thinks, you know, I really do have a desire to do that, or I think I have the talent. Where do you begin, ground zero?
Well, back in 1984, people used to just try to get inside the door and have a meeting, and that was fun. But now what they do, I've found that people are much more sophisticated, and they've learned through some good acting places we have here, acting schools. For example, the Training Ground is a wonderful place for people to go if they want to get into commercials and get training, and Left Coast Productions is another one. And what they learn now is that they have to go and have some photos done. And if you go and have your photos done by a professional photographer, Owen Carey being the only photographer I think in town who specializes in talent photos, and if you go to him and have photos done, and then you send in a photo with a resume, then the agent, when you open this, you look and you go, okay, I don't have to educate them to get photos done, because that costs about $150 to $200. And that's the biggest stumbling block when someone comes to you and wants to do it, is they want to get a job, but they don't want to have to put out any money for the tools. So if I see someone's already had a photo session, I say, these people are hip to the fact that they've got to invest some money. And so I think that's the biggest change I've seen, is that people are willing to get the tools before they go in to see the agent.
Do you need to be an actor?
Well, yeah. Don't you need to be an actor?
Yeah, but I suspect if we're looking for a natural person to do a natural commercial, you could do some work without it really having acting skills.
I don't know about that.
I'm wrong.
I think that most of the people that we have at the Troutman Downey Group, most of them have come from the theater community, and that's where we found a lot of them back in 1984 when we started increasing the acting side. But the models also are learning that they have an asset, which is to look real well, gorgeous people, and they're learning to make that transition into acting. But they also are studying, and so it's not just something they decide to do and then suddenly they're an actor. They get the training.
You really don't have to be an actor that much in this work. But friends, next on AM Northwest, we're going to open the phone lines and take your questions. We'll also talk with some of these local actors that Sam has been speaking about this morning. Bring John back and see where it goes from there. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
If you have a question, in Portland, please call 231-4252. Or outside Portland, call 1-800-777-K.
I'm about to say a four-letter word, perm. If you've ever had a bad one, you know what I'm talking about. At Perfect Look, we've selected the finest, most advanced...
That gal's name is Karen Trumbo, and she is a local talent in our area, and she is seen on many commercials. She is one of the talent at the Troutman Downey Group. We have with us Sam Downey, who is an agent, and John Machida. Everyone knows he's the world's fastest talker. And we're talking about how to get into commercials. Paul asked a very good question about having to have acting ability, acting talent, and yet you see some people on commercials who don't appear to be acting. They appear to really
Takes
be
a
saying,
lot of talent.
I have a really bad headache. Took Excedrin or whatever, and now I feel better. Are they, in fact, actors?
Yes, they are. In fact, there was an article in Esquire about 5 years ago that I used to pass out to all my actors about a guy who auditioned, went through this whole series to get this Dristan commercial, and it was based on pretty much a look, and they stuck cotton balls up his nose and drew circles under his eyes, and he went out and said, I feel awful. That was all he said, but it enabled him to do Shakespeare in the Park in New York for 2 years with what he made off of it.
From that?
Yeah, so believe me, they're actors.
Okay.
John, are you in a position now where you turn down a lot of commercial work?
I do. I mean, people, I don't audition for commercials anymore. They specifically want me or they don't want me, and then it's just a matter of where the market is, how long they want to run it, and how much they want to pay me.
Perfect.
Have you been typecast? Are you now the fastest talker no matter how slowly you speak?
I have a tough time getting regular acting work. I do get offered a lot of acting work, but since I can't wait around for the phone to ring, generally, like, they'll call you for Murder, She Wrote on a Tuesday night and say, we want John to do a guest star role. Can he be there Wednesday? Well, you know, if I don't happen to be home on Tuesday or Wednesday, then I can't do it, and I miss a lot of work because of that. And I'm up for a series right now, which I'll know about in a couple of weeks for the fall on CBS, so we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Good luck. Let's take a phone call. Good morning. You're on AM Northwest.
Yeah, say, I've got 11 years of radio experience. What I want to do, how can I do that for the rest of my life?
Okay. Sam?
Well, the first thing you'd need is a demo tape of something other than what you do on the air with your show, but you should be able to put together a pretty good demo tape because you have the facilities of the production at the radio station, and then just put together a really good demo tape and shop it around, and
shop it around to where?
to the agents and see who's interested in you, and I think the agent to go with is the one that really believes in you as a talent. Not necessarily the biggest agency in town, but the one who really believes in you. And then it's up to the agent to shop it around to people and get some work. But he has a very nice voice, and I think he would probably work. He might beat Eric Collett.
I have to agree, radio commercials are the best to do. You don't have to shave, you don't have to worry what you look like, and you just walk in and you do it and you're finished in 2 seconds.
And you go home. Paul?
Let's spend a moment or two with our local actors here. First, Jan Brehm. I understand it started to pop for you when you changed your hair, and I think we have some photos to prove the point. True?
Well, yeah, I had been doing some work, and this one picture that you see in the black and white didn't get me a lot of work. One thing that I noticed is when I went to auditions, I looked like every other woman in the place. We had all similar hair, dressed similar, and I cut my hair for personal reasons, but also because I wanted to look different. I wanted something that was more my personality, that looked like me, and I did start working more. Now, I don't know if that's because I look different than the others, or if it gave me just an extra confidence or what, but I did start working more.
Maybe Sam could tell us more as to why that would be, but I don't believe every woman in the place looked like you. I'm sorry.
No.
Why would that be? What's the deal with the haircut?
Well, I think that it did make, Jan was working quite a bit before she cut her hair, but cutting her hair really did give her an identity because she really took a risk. There's not many women who can pull off that short of a hairdo. In fact, most actresses have to have longer hair so that they can do a lot of different things to it. But Jan is just gorgeous, and I think that the short hair brought out her face and her eyes a lot more and just made people notice her even more before she even opened her mouth, because they always notice her when she opens her mouth.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more on breaking into commercials, so stay with us.
Down and skinned your knee, and your mom made you feel better with cookies and a glass of milk? So you gave her your report card with cookies and a glass of milk. Well, isn't there something right now that would go down just a little easier with cookies and a glass of milk?
Good voice. That man is Eric Cole. He's a local talent, and he is with us this morning. Good morning to you, Eric.
Good morning, Paul.
Your voice is used a lot, but you tell us 2 industrial films, which is something we haven't talked a lot about. Does that mean you represent big corporations as they try to send a message to someone?
Right. A promotional video that is used by their sales force or something like that, or it can be educational training for their staff and so on.
Can you make a living doing this?
Yeah, it's tough, and there are a lot of dry times when you go out and mow a lawn or do something else. But basically, yeah, it's great.
Good to have you with us this morning.
Thank you.
Okay, Mary?
Let's take a phone call. Good morning. You're on AM Northwest.
Hi, I'd like to ask Sam if you handle children, and what's the secret of getting children into commercials? Is it easier? Is it harder?
Well, we've had some changes in the way things have been done in the last year or so, because we're much more of a unionized market now than we used to be, and because they have to pay children the same amount as they pay adults, we've seen a little bit of a slowdown in the children. But the way you get them started, I don't know. They have to be cute, of course, and I'd say well-disciplined is really important, because there's a lot of sitting around and waiting, and if a child can't have the discipline to sit and read a book and not be fidgety, then they'll never make it. But it's hard to find really, really good kids. I happen to have one here today that's the best one in the business.
Speaking of cute.
Melanie Chang. We see her in what, a lot of Fred Meyer work, Melanie? Yeah. What else do you do?
I do Myron, Frank, and Payless.
Myron, Frank, and Payless.
She does your popcorn show here, too.
That's right. She's on Popcorn. And I understand you're up for a movie that's going to be shot in Vancouver. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Think you're going to get that part?
I don't know.
You don't know? Are you a good waiter, as Sam points out? Are you a real patient person? You're able to sit there while they get the cameras? Doesn't bother you?
No.
You like this work?
Yeah.
I'm not putting words in your mouth. Okay. Thanks, Melanie. Thanks for being with us.
John, what advice would you give to people who are starting out and who really want to pursue this, whether it's radio, film, TV, or just commercials?
Well, I think Sam really hit the nail on the head earlier when she said you really should take a class. She mentioned one of the schools. I'm sure there are other classes available in the area here. and see if you really can do it, if it's something that you're suited to. I mean, we've seen these people here. They have all good qualities about them, something that makes them stand out, the feeling like they're talking to somebody and talking directly to you at home. And you really, I mean, everyone thinks it's very easy to do, and it's not really that easy. It's a very difficult job to do. And going and taking a class and working that out, finding the steps to take, how to have your pictures taken. So I really think that's the first step. It's, you know, I wouldn't say, gee, I could be a plumber, so I don't think a person should say, gee, I could be an actor.
It's not
they
that
should take
easy.
a class and try to figure it out, and then just take it from there.
Okay. Paul?
Two more familiar local faces, Gathering Marbette and Doug Rouet, are with us this morning. I'd like to ask you both the same question. First, you, Gathering. What's the one thing you have that's going to get you the commercial work over the next woman, in your opinion?
Ooh,
Just say your looks, honey. We know that's it.
well, hopefully it'll be just the way that I come across. Hopefully it'll be something inside that projects.
So you think it's good looks and sincerity, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely, sincerity.
Now, Doug here has been stricken with horrible looks. This is a good-looking fella here.
Well, what they tell me is, no matter what you do, Doug, don't smile. Don't smile.
Oh, is that right?
It'll kill your career.
You're the kind of grim-looking.
Yeah.
Give us your best look. If you're just modeling something really serious, you look good smiling, but that's not in these days, huh?
No. Well, in Europe, they're into the.
That's very good. Really pensive. All right. I wanted to ask John, too, before we left, and this has been asked a million times, but how many takes? Are you a one-take guy?
I usually get it within 5 takes. I mean, it depends. You know, a lot of times they want a different size package or this or that or change the shot or do whatever, but usually it's within 5. I've got it documented. So.
It's a good thing my partner's not here, Nanette Troutman, and we could have done this segment in 5 minutes because she talks as quickly as you do.
Yeah, no, we really could have had a lot more information than we could have. These people really would have had a lot more time to answer a lot more questions.
Well, there's a lot more time coming up today at 1:30 if you think you're a fast talker. There's a Fast Talkers competition at Arby's Restaurant at 1:30 p.m. and the address is 4132 Southeast Powell in Portland. It's the Fast Talkers competition. John, we thank you, and Sam, thanks
thank
for
you.
joining
I hope everyone comes out. Anyone that beats me wins $1,000.
$1,000 if you can beat John, and people who just compete, don't they get fed?
Right, they get free lunch, and if no one beats me, the fastest person gets $100. And if you just want to come down and watch, bring your MasterCard, because now MasterCard is accepted at Arby's. They can charge through Arby's, have a great time, and win $1,000.
Wow, you can't lose. Thanks a lot for joining us, Paul.
We're over there this afternoon. Coming up, president of the Slow Talkers of America, Horst Mager, and Debbie Clunas. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Thursday on AM Northwest.